My friends, my credit card just got charged for freaking Google Stadia. I forgot my 3 months pass of Google's Founders Edition was gonna expire on the 19th of February, and I got dinged for $9.99 because I forgot to cancel it. But that made me want to look back at Google Stadia and see where has it come in the last 3 months? I mean, there was a whole giant crap storm of everything happening when Google Stadia first launched. Tons of negative press about everything that they did wrong, hardly anything that they did right. The promises that they made that were going to be available on launch are still nowhere to be found. So this can be considered a revisit into Google Stadia and see whether or not is it actually still worth it, or should Google just kill the project because it's a dumb piece of crap, which we can talk about after I tell you about today's video sponsor, Synergy, which is not a dumb piece of crap, mind you, because it's an amazing piece of software that actually is fully developed, is ready for you to go, where you can use your keyboard and mouse on multiple devices at once. It's support for Linux, Mac, Windows, whatever you have so you can have one keyboard and mouse set up on a single desk and operate 2 different systems, whether it's a laptop and a desktop, or you don't even have to pick up a KVM switch if you're trying to do some like server environment stuff. So you can pick up Synergy at the link in the video description, and you can do that for a price of $29 for the basic package, which is just everything. You don't pay a monthly subscription, unlike with Stadia. You just get it, okay? It's yours. Once you buy it, it's yours. And then there's also a pro package, which includes SSL encryption for $39. So check that out at the link in the video description. And we will now talk about Google Stadia and just how not far it has come in 3 months. I'm actually like appalled at how terrible Google has been at keeping Stadia up to date. And in fact, somebody posted on Reddit that it had been 40 days without an update in the middle of January. 40 straight days without a major Stadia update, and that was 69 days from launch, mind you.
Nice. Stare them down. Just for me, stare them down, because I'm having so much trouble with this.
And in case you want to know my main thoughts about Stadia, you can check it out on the first video we did the couple days after I got it in this video up here. But suffice it to say, my general perspective hasn't really changed. Stadia is a good implementation of server streaming. It works on multiple devices. The base level conceptual part of playing video games on multiple devices over the internet works. But as soon as you start to tag in anything else that Google has promised, such as 4K 60 FPS gameplay, such as stream sharing with YouTube so that players can jump into your game, that was a big thing that they mentioned in their announcement. They're not even talking about that anymore. There's hardly any new games coming out for Stadia. In fact, it was basically just a list that we got when it launched that has come out, and no new titles have happened. And one of the big titles that was supposed to be released with Stadia was supposed to be Cyberpunk 2077, which is like just under 2 months away. Oh wait, they delayed it until September, so Stadia is not gonna have any pull of new big games coming out. But they did promise in the middle of January that we'll get 120 brand new games this year. Do you want to know what games those are? We don't know. We don't know because they're not telling us. Just like they told us that we'd have 4K support. Haha, just kidding if you have a Chromecast Ultra on a 4K TV, but not if you're trying to run it on the browser. We're still a little while out from 4K gaming on a browser. We got a major update a couple days ago where they're going to be launching Stadia on a few different phones, which is basically Samsung and some gaming phones, but no mention of iOS, no mention of anything coming out in the future on any different supported platforms. It's just so little communication on things that got fundamentally screwed up with Stadia, and now I'm here paying a monthly subscription for this. Is it worth it? Part of me thinks that I'm just paying for Google to develop this beta even more. And I kind of want to continue paying them $10 a month so that game streaming doesn't die. I actually legitimately enjoy the idea of video game streaming over the internet. I don't have to have a powerful machine such as the one that's sitting right here. I can just play wherever I want, including the fact that some people are trying to get it to work on a Tesla. So if you have a Tesla and you're sitting at a supercharger, you'd be able to play freaking video games. You'd be able to play AAA titles. But then they also don't have any games, and they have no trajectory for the games that are actually going to come out, because they probably don't want any more backlash, because as soon as they announce the games and some of them fall through, well, then they're held liable for it. So rather just say we'll have 120 games coming out. Oh, sorry, we forgot to mention it's all of Ubisoft's back catalog from Uplay Plus, and that's all you're getting. It's just a back catalog of old games that everybody's already played, nothing to entice new consumers to come over here, and then not to mention the fact that GeForce Now has come out. And yes, we did do paid promotion of GeForce Now with NVIDIA. I do want to say that up front, but that's not coloring my glasses to see that Stadia is fundamentally, completely bass-backwards when it comes to how NVIDIA approached GeForce Now. They had it in beta for years. NVIDIA made sure that they were working out all of the kinks, and then finally when Stadia proved that it wasn't actually going to come out swinging, NVIDIA can launch at $5 a month, which is a promotional price, for 4K 60 FPS gameplay that you can verify is actually high details because you can run benchmarks in games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and you're running on brand new RTX hardware, whereas Stadia's running on some AMD stuff, which is okay, but it's not going to be anything that's the highest end ray tracing goodness that we would expect from a cloud gaming environment. And it seems like the 10.6 teraflop GPU that Stadia is actually running on per person isn't capable of running anything at 4K 60 FPS, even though the Xbox One X can do a better job at delivering higher frame rate and higher resolution than Stadia, even though the Stadia has a more powerful GPU than the Xbox One X. And then on top of the 120 games that Google has promised this year, they also said that we would get 10 brand new Stadia exclusives by July. What those are? No idea. We've got Guilt. Giles. It's one of the free Stadia Pro games. Fantastic. Thanks Stadia. And now that all of the Founders Edition memberships are now coming out and being canceled because it's after 3 months, well, now we find out that Google still doesn't have a plan for the free subscription that they promised. It's supposed to be coming out this year, but you can only access Stadia Base, which is the free version, if you had Stadia Pro, which you can only get if you buy the Founders membership or the Premier membership and then cancel that, so now you're on Stadia Base. So those are the only people who can play for free. But guess what? You know that Destiny 2 game, the collection that they were promoting goes out to everybody who got the Founders membership? You remember that, Reece? Well, it's okay that you lose the DLC when you cancel your Pro subscription. You wouldn't expect for them to continue to give that to you for free once you cancel the subscription with them. And then on top of that, if you re-enable your Stadia Pro subscription, they're gonna give it back to you. But the weird thing is, Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game, right? Yeah. Right, Reece? Yeah. It's a free-to-play game. Well, guess what? In order to play a free-to-play game on Stadia, you have to subscribe to Stadia Pro. So even if you have the base free Stadia, with the game that they promised, which is free to play, you are not able to actually play it on Stadia unless you pay for the subscription. That's hot garbage. The only games that you can play on Stadia Base for free are the games that you purchased on Stadia, which is ridiculous. And then GeForce Now had to come out and show up Google by just allowing you to play games that are on everybody else's launchers. You want your Steam game on GeForce Now? Well, guess what? You can do that. You want to play Fortnite? You want to play Destiny 2? You can play that on the free version of GeForce Now because those games are free, your account is free, and GeForce Now is free 1080p 60 FPS gameplay. It's limited to an hour, which actually does kind of suck. I don't like that. But at the same time, it's free. It's free. The free game you can't play on Stadia because Google says that you're just not allowed to. The only major update that Stadia has come out with since its launch 3 months ago is achievements. You now have achievements. But guess what? You want to see your achievements on the Chromecast like I have it right here? No. Go on the web browser. You want to buy games straight from Google Stadia on Chromecast? No. Go to your web. Wait, no, you can't even go to your web browser. You can only buy games on your phone. Listen, I like the concept of Stadia. I like the concept of server-based cloud gaming. The latency doesn't bother me. I'm a normal pleb gamer. I don't mind having an extra little bit of input lag. I'm never gonna play professionally at 30 years old. I've come to terms with that. But $130 is what I paid for the Founders Edition, plus the $10 a month that I just put into the premium membership that I'm getting. I've paid them $140 and I've gotten not even half of what they promised would come with Stadia. I just don't have it. So I'm paying for them to develop the features that they said would exist. I'm paying for them to be in active beta, which wouldn't bother me if I was told that's what was happening. I have to buy Stadia as a business expense. It's part of me being a tech YouTuber. I was gonna get it no matter what. So having Stadia is run of the mill for me. But now I have to decide whether or not I'm gonna continue to pay my $10 subscription to see if Google is actually gonna develop something worthwhile. So my suggestion to Google would be do what everybody thought Stadia was when you first announced it. Reece, what did we think Stadia was gonna be when we first heard it?
A subscription service.
A subscription service, the Netflix of video games. That is what everybody was expecting. And when people find out that's not what Stadia actually is, highly disappointing. Google, put your money into it, leverage it that way. I guarantee you would get hundreds of thousands of more people actually wanting to play if it was a $10 subscription. They could play whatever game they want, kind of like a PlayStation Now, kind of like an Xbox Game Pass. Google, you have the resources to make it happen. Clearly, your server infrastructure and the way you're rolling out Stadia isn't to where you thought it was going to be by the time you could launch. We have no update. We have no promise of what games are going to come out. So just change your model. We expect this of Google. We're planning, I mean, the amount of threads that I've seen of people expecting Google Stadia to be just completely canned, along with tons of other projects that you've worked on, is incredibly high. So just pivot. Pivot at this point. If you change Stadia into a Netflix subscription for games where I'm actually able to play whatever game I want at any time, you buy all of the licensing rights, I don't have to patch or install or update anything ever, I would love it, and I could wholeheartedly recommend it. I would play it way more often than I actually do, which is not at all since I did the last video. I just booted it up to make this one because I have no incentive to play Stadia because I can play Destiny 2 on my gaming computer here. I can play Destiny 2 basically anywhere on anything. And now with GeForce Now, I can play it for free and not have to have a $10 a month subscription to play it on Stadia. And I think the reason most people are pissed off is because Stadia pitched this as a complete product right out of the gate. They said everything was ready.
I had my
till it wasn't,
because it was Google behind it. Like, Google can throw infinite money at something and just make it work, and they haven't.
They gave us a beta. Now we're betas. But you know who's not a beta? You know who's an alpha? Our video sponsor, Synergy. Check them out at the link in the video description. Keyboard and mouse on multiple devices at once. Yes, please. No KVM switch. Yes, please. No multiple keyboard and mouses to run on 2 different computers. Yes, please. Synergy, link in the video description. Pick it up, my friends. Anyways, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to rant about Google Stadia because I had to pay $10 a month and I wanted you guys to know about it. Thank you for watching. Bye. I hate this. I hate Stadia Pro. I hate Stadia right now. And I'm paying for it. I'm paying for something that I hate. Why do I punish myself, Reece?
For the glory.
For the glory of YouTube views.